Welcome to my presentation. I had the pleasure of working with an organization called NKLA and had a fantastic time, and I'm actually extending my volunteer opportunity for the next 6 months and going into another division, which I will talk about during this presentation as well. But I have always been an advocate for animals and decided that the best opportunity for me was, for this particular assignment, was to go to NKLA. And a little bit about their mission. They are an actual initiative led by the Best Friends Animal Society, bringing together passionate individuals, city shelters, and an entire coalition of animal welfare organizations to end the killing of homeless pets in LA city shelters. They have a really straightforward plan. They provide spay and neuter services where they are needed most so that fewer animals go into shelters, and then they also increase adoption so that more dogs are placed into new homes. And in 2016, NKLA Coalition helped find homes for more than 26,500 dogs and cats, and the Best Friends provided support for about 14,500 spay-neuter surgeries for LA pets. So as you can see, a really incredible organization. All right, so let me go ahead and move this here, and a little bit about more the organization in general. So along with their spay and neuter initiatives and their adoptive mission, they also provide the opportunities for people to foster animals, volunteers to nurse kittens back to health at the Neonate Nursery Center, participate in adoption, PR, and fundraising events, help with national emergencies, and volunteer at their sanctuary in Utah, which was the original location. They have 2 locations here in LA, also in Salt Lake City, and then the sanctuary in Kanab, Utah, and they are opening a new location in New York City. And interestingly, over 100 animal nonprofits joined together to form the NKLA initiative, working together to rescue dogs and cats. So my tasks included, I was socializing the dogs, I helped with minimal training, walked the dogs, cleaned the kennels, and restocked the food and water. And then I was asked to actually continue my volunteer work, which I was really excited about. So for the next 6 months, I will be working at the Neonate Nursery Center, about a half hour outside of LA, where I will be bottle feeding little kittens to bring them back to health so they can be adopted. So really looking forward to that next stage of my volunteer experience. The population that I worked with the dogs that have been rescued by city and county shelters, and the dogs had also been rescued by the rescue organizations that were in partnership with Best Friends and part of the NKLA coalition. The dogs needed to be spayed and neutered, medically treated if needed, socialized, taught how to walk on a leash, assessed for temperaments and their likes and dislikes, and most importantly, they needed to be loved and cared for. I actually found a lot of new skills and knowledge that I was able to develop during this experience. Whenever you work with animals, they are our best teachers for nonverbal communication. And I actually learned how to become more humble. I am a natural born leader and I feel most comfortable in charge. And this was a humbling experience because I was not an employee and really had no say. I wanted to do so much more, but needed to just get comfortable in my volunteer role, which I think will actually be very beneficial as I embark on my internships over the next year and sort of get a new job as an OTA. It'll be a new role and new responsibilities. So this, I think, was perfect in orienting me in new ways to act within a group. I learned how to walk some pretty crazy dogs. I learned actually how to also seek out more responsibility. And again, I'm really proud that I'll be continuing my service in the neonate nursery. And I found the courage to keep showing up. Honestly, it was so heartbreaking at first to see so many dogs that need homes. That's always been such a challenge for me over the years when I've worked in dog rescue. But every time I keep showing up, it just allows me to build more courage that I know, of course, I can utilize as my role as an OTA. Some surprises included, I actually didn't realize how many nonprofits were part of the coalition that has actually formed the NKLA. It's over 100 here in Los Angeles. I didn't realize how old the organization was. It started in 1984. I didn't realize that there was a benefactor actually who had donated the entire space. And I didn't realize how many volunteer opportunities were available when I really got into it. And again, learning about the neonate nursery where I'm going to be working, I didn't realize that those were all available to us. So it was nice, and I think that that is also something that can be utilized, and just staying open to all the possibilities that will be presented to me as an OTA over the years. You know, to just stay open to everything and all opportunities that will come my way. Some of the difficult parts of the experience, for sure, leaving the dogs at the end of the shift because you've become so attached so quickly, seeing how many were so scared and so nervous, and learning the staggering statistics that we covered about how many dogs and cats are euthanized and that are not rescued in LA. That was really difficult, and I think, you know, relating that to an OTA experience, I'm sure it'll be difficult when I'm working with a patient who's not doing well. That'll be hard to leave them at the end of the shift. Certainly satisfying, spending time with the dogs, knowing that I was making a difference, and of course getting doggy kisses was very sweet. And I'm sure, again, relating that to the OTA experience, it'll be very satisfying when I know that I'll be making a difference with my patients in the future. The difference that I make, you know, socializing, walking the dogs, and spending time with these dogs is so important. They need to have those skills in order to become really interesting to potential adoptees or people who are adopting them. And unfortunately, they're alone so much for the day that any human interaction is vital to their overall health and well-being. I'm very active on social media, posting about dog foster and adoptions and animal welfare, and I feel like this experience only deepened my love and commitment to these animals. What did I learn about myself, the organization, the community? I learned how much compassion and empathy I feel, and it's so nice to be of service, and I know that my OTA role is just so perfect for me because of the depth of compassion and empathy that I feel. I'm even more committed to doing more volunteer work with dogs and cats in the future, and staying with NKLA and Best Friends and continuing my work with them. I've definitely found a newfound love and appreciation for all the staff and volunteers. There's so many people that really care about animals, and they're doing such incredible work. And I really learned, you know, how much the community needs to be properly educated. I just feel like so many people really don't know how important it is to spay and neuter your animal. And I think a lot of people don't really know how many wonderful pets that are awaiting adoption. I think a lot of people just automatically think about going to a breeder, or just want to go with kind of a designer breed. And they don't really realize that there's just so many in our city and county shelters and in rescue organizations and places like Best Friends, that if they really just took the time to understand that and become educated, that they could find an amazing best friend. So that was another thing. NKLA is really about education, and I was very interested to learn how those outreach programs are really important to them and how much they're doing to get out into the public. And in fact, they do a lot of public events, a ton of PR. They're out in the public a lot, just a lot of fairs. They do a Clear the Shelter Day where they really encourage people to adopt. And they do, there's a mobile team actually that goes to like food fairs and county fairs and events and the beach and parks to just really try to get out there to where the people are versus having the people need to find them. So I think that mobile service is fantastic. I had incredible experiences, and there were certainly some aha moments. I just think this experience made me even more committed to helping dogs and cats find home. I love education and being able to be an advocate and an educator about these incredible organizations, and this one specifically I think is really wonderful, and I found a newfound voice, and I want to just be able to be of service and helpful to these dogs and to these cats and to these organizations. They're just doing great work, and I'm proud to be part of it. And interestingly, you know, I didn't ever think that I wanted to work with kittens or cats. I mean, I adore them, but I've just kind of had a soft spot in my place for dogs for so many years. But this opportunity presented itself, and I'm actually really, really excited to be able to bottle feed and be with these little kittens at the very beginning of their lives. So I really jumped at the chance, and I can't wait to continue my volunteer experience for the next 6 months at least. And interesting, you know, I think there was a lot of comparisons that I was able to make between this volunteer experience and St. Kate's and OTA in general. The center really possessed a commitment to the population it serves. They were so committed from every level, from admin to volunteers to staff to the cleanliness of the center to their education, their outreach. I mean, they just had this incredible commitment from top to bottom, and I think that that's how we need to be as OTAs too. We need to be incredibly committed. They valued each dog and cat that they helped. They valued them regardless of their background, where they had come from, their breed, their past. You know, it didn't matter if they had come from a hoarding situation or if they were fighter pit bulls or anything. They just were committed to them, and I think that that's how we need to be. We need to be committed to every patient that we have, regardless of their background, cultural differences, age, creed, sexual orientation, anything, that just we're committed to them as our patients, period. You know, there's a great imbalance, and there's too many dogs and cats that are being euthanized, and NKLA is working to tip the scales. And I think that, you know, we're working to tip the scales for a healthier population and helping those in need. NKLA really encouraged socialization, independence, and dignity for these dogs and cats, and I think that that definitely relates to how we want to work with our patients, you know, to make sure they're being socialized, they're getting back to the occupations that they love, they're feeling independent, they're feeling like they're being treated with dignity. Certainly in NKLA, they encouraged a diverse workplace, work staff, and volunteer staff. And I think that the places that I'll be working with will, of course, encourage that as well. And I'm excited to have that sort of diverse experience. They were so organized. Oh my gosh, their admin duties, their training, their website, their volunteer signups, everything was so organized. And it really showed the importance of how organization can really make or break a nonprofit. And certainly I need to stay organized as an OTA. They keep the buildings, grounds, and nurseries so clean, organized, and beautiful, and they encourage interacting with and educating the public. And again, wanting to work somewhere that really takes the aesthetic and the building and the grounds and the gym and the rehab centers and makes them very beautiful. I think that's very important. And they certainly welcome new ideas, technology, and innovation, which I hope to implement into my practice as well. So in conclusion, I had an incredible experience. I can't wait to continue with NKLA, and I was really very excited about just what I learned, and certainly was able to relate so much of this experience to my overall education and certainly my commitment to this practice as an OTA. Thank you.